Joseph. Welcome to the Angela B. Joseph Show. We've got another exciting show for you today. We have Kym Whitley here, the star of Oprah Winfrey's new hot reality show. And we will also have a great story here for you today to share for Mother's Day. We have a lady who's dealing with a daughter who is in a gang. So stick around for Kym Whitley. We're going to talk about raising a child, and we're also going to talk about her great career. So I'm going to introduce to you now a lady that I've known for quite a while. She is an outstanding photographer, and she is a mom, Valerie Goodloe. Hi. I'm sorry. How you doing? I'm fantastic. It's good to have you here today. So now, Valerie, I know you as a photographer. You've taken pictures of the biggest stars. I mean, we have a shot back here of the cover of Ebony magazine where you shot Barack Obama. And I just happened to be in that same issue of Ebony magazine.
I didn't even realize that.
You didn't realize that, huh? Well, I sure realized it. So it was pretty exciting. So, Valerie, tell us a little bit, we'll just talk about your career just a little bit as a photographer. You've traveled all over. So tell us some of the people that you've worked with.
Well, just a little bit how I became a photographer. I was at the post office for 23 years. I was a mailman. And when I turned 50, I made a decision that I didn't want to be a carrier any longer. So I quit my job and went to school for photography. And I'm looking at a friend of mine across over here, Malcolm Ali, who was a big inspiration.
All of our friends are here tonight.
Right. He was a big inspiration in regards to my photography because he told me early on that if you're going to come out here with the big boys, you have to have big boy equipment.
You can look at me.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. So Malcolm is one of my mentors and one of the people that helped lead me into the career that I have. He let me know that it was good to compete. He's one of my competitors and one of my compadres as well. So
who are some of the biggest people that you feel we shot? I know we've seen you with all of the top stars because you've done Halle, you've done all those. How long you were working for Ebony for a long time?
Well, I was staff photographer for Johnson Publishing from July 5th, 2005 to December 16th, my birthday, 2010.
Okay.
So I was staff photographer, first female staff photographer for Johnson Publishing Company. So that was a big deal.
But didn't you go on the road with Hillary Clinton too?
I did do some stuff with Hillary, but it was mainly through Maxine Waters.
Mm-hmm.
Maxine was, at that time, it was early on when the campaign was just starting, and she was a supporter of Hillary Clinton at that time, so I did do a little bit with Hillary.
Okay. And then how many times have you shot our President Barack Obama?
Well, I traveled with him for a year with a traveling.
This is when he was running for office?
When he was running for office, so I started in December of 2007 all the way through the inauguration to 2009. So I traveled to Europe, to the Middle East, to all over the country. In the same plane, the Obama plane.
Oh, in the Obama plane?
As he traveled to become president. So I was with him for a lot of that, for most of it that year.
Well, the reason that we have you on the show today is because we're talking about mothers and some of the things that mothers go through. And, I mean, teenage years can be challenging for most mothers, but you had especially challenging years with your daughter. Tell us about when you found out that your daughter was a member of a gang.
I found out when she was probably about 13 years old. I started suspecting that she might be affiliating herself with gangs. She was going to a private school, a Muslim school, where they wear uniforms and scarves, and she was wearing colored scarves up under her other scarf. And so the teachers there weren't having it, but they also let me know that she was wearing colors up on her uniform.
Now, when you say colors, I mean, you mean like gang colors?
You know, gang colors. So, red is Bloods, blue is Crips.
So at the point that you discovered that she was in a gang, exactly how did that happen?
Well, what happened was she had just started going to Audubon Junior High School, and one day she was just in the bathroom for a real long time. And she had prior to that summer that she had got arrested, not arrested, but she had got caught shoplifting.
Oh, okay.
So
she started to getting into trouble.
Right. And so I went into the bathroom, and up under the sink I found a pair of jeans that had all the gang writing on it. It had BPS. It was all in red, and
so did you confront her? Did you confront her right away?
I can't remember if I really said anything straight out in the very beginning, because sometimes you don't want to jump to conclusions. But I kind of started watching what she was doing at that time.
Okay.
And that was really based on kind of me and my childhood. I know that when my mother got at me real hard, she wasn't going to get much information. So I figured it would be better for me to do a little bit of spying and checking things out before I really confronted her with it.
All right. Well, we're going to give people a chance to call in. Our call-in line is 323-247-7443, or you can go up on Twitter and hashtag ADJ Show and send your question, because we're talking to Valerie Goodloe, and we're talking about what it's like to have a daughter in a gang. And then when we come back, we're going to also have Kym Whitley here. So stay tuned. We'll be back. With photographer Valerie Goodloe. We're talking about her daughter's life in a gang. Now, Valerie, you've changed, and now you've become a filmmaker. You've added that to your repertoire. So you made a documentary about your daughter's life in a gang. So tell us about the movie.
Well, the film is called Gang Girl, A Mother's Journey to Save Her Daughter. And it's really not so much about girls in gangs, but it's maybe a story about why girls make the decisions that they do. So you find out as you watch the film that there's many reasons why girls' directions may change. So that's what I wanted to film. So there's no guns, there's no drugs, there's no really inappropriate behavior in the film, but it really does highlight conversations with the girls that let you know that there's things that we need to do and not to do as a parent if we want to have a successful daughter.
Okay, so tell us, what are some of the things parents should, first of all, look for that your child might be in trouble with gangs?
One of the things that I would say would be separation from the family, no longer interested in maybe doing family activities, more interested in being by themselves in their rooms, coming home late from school, not being available or around at the time that they should be around. They've kind of like disappeared.
So when you see a change in their patterns that they're doing.
Right.
Now, what about, did she become withdrawn from the family?
No, she didn't. She became aggressive. She became hostile. She became not the daughter that I had prior to her.
So she changed. There was a change in her behavior, in her emotional state.
Yeah, and it was a change that didn't just start at 12 or 13. That's the time that you might start noticing things, because kids go through puberty and through hormonal changes at that time. But I think that probably me and her father being divorced, coming from a house, going from two different households, one household one way, one household another way. Mother and father arguing.
There were different rules in the different households?
Different rules. Kids should really be more in one environment and maybe visit that other environment, because going back and forth, there's too much change. They're not really settled. And when parents leave, they feel abandoned. They feel conflicted on who's their favorite parent, because parents play that game as well. Don't you want to be at my house? Don't you want to be at my house? And here you have a kid that's stuck in the middle of all that. And so she was stuck in the middle of her father saying one thing, me saying another, me believing one thing, he believing another. And you have your kids stuck in the middle of your conflicts. So that's probably one of the biggest things that you need not to do, is have conflict with your divorced parent. Even if you hate him and he hates you, you got to find a way to have no conflict with that child. They got to at least look and think that you guys still love each other or getting along.
for her sake. So tell me this: how did her father react to her being in the gang?
He didn't see it. I mean, in his mind, he didn't see it. Even though I would tell him that she was wearing colors, he would say, "Well, no, she's not a. I don't think she's in a gang."
So he was in denial.
Kind of in denial, yeah.
So let me ask you this. Since you made the film, did you go to the place where the gang hangs out and they let you film there? Was there resistance to you bringing a camera into their environment?
Well, what I did was I talked to someone who was a gang intervention specialist, and he told me that he had meetings on a certain day with gang members, and so I felt that in order for me to really get in with the girls, that I needed to be a part of the girls. So I went to meetings for about 3 months in their setting and let them know a little bit about my background before I even introduced the idea. And when I did, they felt like they wanted to do it, but I had to go to the gang leader, who happened to be a male, and I had to get permission from him to film the girls. I mean, to film the girls in a way that it was going to be comfortable for all of us.
Now, since you made the film, has there been any change in your daughter's status with the gang?
Because of the film, she has been going to juvenile halls, and she's been on college campuses and talking to youth and talking to probation officers and stuff about maybe her life in a gang and what she's trying to do now.
So she's become an advocate.
And so the gang members like it. They think she's great. They think it's great that she's doing what she's doing. So she's not getting any.
So is she in the gang, out of the gang? Where is she now?
Are you what is your sorority? Are you in one?
No.
Okay, well, if you're in a sorority, you're in it forever.
So
if you're in a gang, you're
forever.
She's always going to be a blood. I could revert back to when I was young. I was a gladiator, and I'll always be a gladiator. So.
Okay, I wanted to ask you about, there's one woman in the film that's in her 40s, right?
Bubbles.
Isn't she how old is she?
She's probably now about 49.
Because I thought that was very unusual.
No, I don't think so.
But it's
unusual.
not.
No.
Okay, so people in their 40s are still hanging out and.
Yeah.
So what attracts them to the gang lifestyle?
Well, I mean, when you're young, the guys look good, and girls like bad boys, so that's one good reason why to get into a gang. Another reason to get into a gang is maybe it's safer for you to walk 7 blocks to your school knowing that you have a gang that has your back, or you might want camaraderie or family, and that's what they say mainly they get from being in a gang is a sense of family, but it's a dysfunctional family.
But in terms of your household, don't you have other children?
Yeah.
And what was the reaction to the other children to having their sister be in a gang?
They weren't very happy about it because as she got the attention, they were kind of like, I wouldn't say neglected because, both of them did very well, but you tend to put the energy into the kid that needs the attention. So they, and just talking to them not even long ago, saying that, they wish they had been able to get some of the treatment they thought was good treatment, but it was just no more than me maybe preparing for her to go into a facility that she was going to have to stay. So I might have taken her away for the weekend to talk to her about that you're either going to have to go in this facility or you're going to have to go to juvenile hall. So the trips that they thought were fun trips were really trips to let her know what may come about.
Now, people get killed being in gangs. It's a dangerous type of thing. So were there ever any times when you thought that you might get that phone call about your daughter?
I think that when your kid is out there, that you think that all the time. She wasn't just a regular gang member that kind of like tagged along. She was one of the major gang members. So she's very, very well known in respects to being in a gang. So the more
there's a hierarchy in the gang.
Right. So the more you're known, the more chances you have of something happening, of getting killed or shot or whatever.
So as a mother, though, what was that like during those the times when she would be, because she would be gone from the house for periods of time, right?
Yeah.
And what was that like for you?
It was sleepless nights. You know, there would be times I would get a 2 o'clock phone call in the morning, and my heart would start beating and pounding, thinking that it was somebody calling about her being killed or shot or in jail. I mean, she went to jail a couple of times, but she never did get shot. So I've been blessed.
So did she have to go through the judicial system and go to court?
She went through the juvenile court, and I also had a good relationship with the judge, and I told him at particular times that she can't come home right now. I wrote letters to him
To keep her?
to keep her and to put her in maybe in a position of where she could get help. There was a time that me and her father were, I would say, kind of like in a warlike situation, and there was times that I felt that it would be better for her not to be with either one of us, that she needed to be somewhere where she would not be able to run away or not be safe.
Oh, my goodness. So where are you now with your career? Did this affect your career in any way while she was, especially when she was at that really serious stage in the gang?
Well, you know, it's all this was done all in between the gang stuff, the working, the making of the film. Everything was just done one beat after the other. You know, I'm kind of like a hustler type of a person. I've always kind of like done that my whole life, so it was just an extension of what I do. So making the film right now, I'm still doing photography. I'm doing some set photography right now for an up and coming producer, and doing that. And I'm still doing photography. I've kind of like changed my scope. I have a couple of books out that I've done. One for Save Africa's Children, a book on Africa, and then I also have a book I did with Barack Obama. They're not published yet.
Now, what's the Barack Obama book?
Upholding the Dream. That's the name of it. But I didn't want to do anything with it yet until I went and got this last inauguration. So I got him on the last inauguration, so I want to add that to the end of the book before I make a decision what I'm going to do with it. It's 11 by 17, really nice.
Oh,
really
you know,
nice
I also saw this cover that you can buy a print of that. Do you get royalties?
No.
No? This is a collector's item.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's a collector's item.
I heard.
I know I bought at least 300 copies of it myself. So tell me a little bit about the nonprofit that you started.
Well, it's called Window, Women in Need of Discovering Own Worth, and this is a nonprofit that's not really going to do direct services as far as, because they have a whole lot of programs out here that take care of essential needs. But what I want to do is have a company that focuses through multimedia, you know, through documentaries, through films, through photo essays, issues that affect women and girls, whether it's incest or child prostitution. These are the things that I want to do with the organization, and to benefit women and girls, to put it into the faces of the people that need to see it. So that's what the main thing. And then I want to start some other little things with the program and take some girls back up to Camp Giddy Up. That's one of the places that was focused on.
Now, that was in the film.
Yeah.
So now that is what? There's an actor that started that.
Glenn Turman, who's a good friend of mine now. Him and Joanne have a camp called Camp Giddy Up that was started right around the time of the 1992 civil unrest. And I took a group of girls in 2008, I think. So this year, I think during July, we're going to take 25 girls. So what we are trying to do is we do have to raise money to take these girls. So it's be about $250 per girl in order for her to go to camp for 3 days. And then they end up going to the rodeo.
Well, in the film, it seemed like being able to be in that environment had a change on the girls. Their whole disposition changed, taking them out of that hardcore environment. But, you know, I want to say something. Now, when we normally think about people in gangs, we think about inner city, we think about maybe lower income, struggling. You live in a middle-class neighborhood. How is it that your daughter ended up being attracted to being in a gang. I understand you said there was family problems, but was there something from her childhood that you noticed that would cause her personality to be drawn to the gang life?
Well, I think that any child that is conflicted, whether it's through family or whether they feel they were being abandoned or they're not having enough attention paid to them, any of those things make you susceptible to being in gangs. You don't have to be a hardcore kid to be attracted to being in a gang. All you have to do is be susceptible. And almost now you look at families, there's 75% divorce rate, single family household, blended families. So as you add on each one of those things, your child is closer and closer to being accepted into a family other than the one that they really don't want to be a part of. I mean, it's very difficult for a kid to be a part of a blended family where you know that father does not love you like your father would, and you know that mother doesn't love you like your mother would. And there's you're treating that other little brother and sister a little different than the way you treat me. How come they get this and I don't? How come your dad does this and mine doesn't? You know, so your kids, as they're led into the life of mixed families and single families and latchkey kids and all these things, you're opening your kid up to being in very dangerous situations. And mine happened to be in a gang. Some may choose other things.
Now, how did this affect your marriage?
It was rough. It was rough. And there was times that my husband was at a point of not wanting to take it any longer, and he said that in the film, but he knew that I was doing everything that I could to change it. He loved me. He knew that I was doing the best that I could with it, and he just stuck in there. And sometimes, you know, you share your faith in God and know that, you know, God is the controller and planner of all things. And I think we just got through because God was probably a real big part of us getting through this journey.
Absolutely. So, do you sell the film? Is it available on DVD? How do people get the film?
Well, right now, the film is not for sale. We've tried ways of distribution. They said it's not mainstream. But anybody who's seen the film knows that the film is for any family in America who has a daughter. And it's for youth and parents. But right now, what we're doing with the film, we're going to
take a break right now. We're going to
Okay.
come back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. I'm here with the producer, director of Gang Girl movie, Valerie Goodloe, and she's talking about her daughter's life in the gang. We'll be right back.
This little chapel on the boulevard we can go. No one will know.
Hello, it's Angela D. Joseph. You're watching The Angela D. Joseph Show. We are having a wonderful conversation with photographer Valerie Goodloe. We're talking about her daughter's life in a gang and about her documentary. So, Valerie, what gave you the idea to, first of all, make the documentary?
Well, I initially had talked to someone about doing a documentary on girls. It didn't necessarily have to be girls in gangs, but I had saw over the past couple of years girls' behavior was changing. So I thought I wanted to do a documentary. Initially, it was going to be called Lost Girls, where it was not just about girls in gangs, but it was about girls that had other issues as well. But as we got into the production or pre-production part of it, they said, well, why don't we do it on your family and your daughter?
Okay.
And so that's how it happened.
So who was it? You have other producers involved in the film?
Yeah, we have a producer. Her name is Anise Parker, who was a big part of it. Also, the videographer, James Henley, was also a part of it, and my husband. And we've had other people, editors, 4 or 5 editors have come all the way through the film. So
It's expensive editing a film.
Yeah, in fact,
were they donating their time?
well, everybody really did it for the love of the project, except for the editors.
I know.
Editors will
I know.
not. They will not break. They will not do any I mean, I've never found one yet that does pro bono or. Now the last editor we had, he did some. He's given me good prices.
Okay.
So after I was broke through the first 3 editors, he threw me a little grace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's financial.
But in terms of the cinematography, we have a caller. So, who's on the line? Hello, welcome to the Angela Joseph Show. You have a question? Hello? Well, I guess we lost it. Maybe they lost their nerve.
Or maybe they'll call back.
Maybe they'll call back. So you finance it yourself, and then
Basically.
Basically.
Well, you know what? A lot of it, what we did was we did trade-offs. I mean, we had a couple good people that did give us a little bit of money that did help through the first stages of the Brotherhood Crusade.
Okay.
Stepped up and gave us an initial $5,000 donation.
But it means a lot.
And Stevie Wonder heard about the film, and he gave us a nice little lump.
Okay.
And there was other people who maybe to be on there as an executive producer or producer. We didn't have to pay them. We just put them on as a part of the
return for credits.
and give them for credits.
What about grants? Did you try applying for any grants?
We tried some grants, but we weren't accepted. We didn't get accepted through any grants. It's been a hard thing making a film. I would not do it this way again, I don't think.
Okay, it is. It's a tough one. But I got to give you have a lot of heart. And this is going to give an opportunity for people to understand what's going on. One of the things I thought was interesting was in the film there was like a group of girls, like you talked about, like a family that hung together. And now I know that one of my neighbors told me her granddaughter, I think, was in that gang. Roz.
Yes.
Her granddaughter. And her granddaughter, what happened? She committed
Her daughter got killed. They don't really know how. And she was a gang member. She also had the initial CK behind her name.
Okay.
So she was a well-known gang member. And it's really funny. Her name is the mother's name is Nikki or Nicola, and her daughter, my daughter's. I mean, if I hear her background of her daughter, it's just so similar to my daughter, and she's kind of so similar to me. That I really, when I heard Nikki's story, it was just like almost eerie.
So you ever think?
And my daughter knew her as well.
Oh, but you ever think, there by the grace of God, go by that?
Oh yeah,
that could have happened to your daughter.
Right. I just think it was God's grace that allowed my daughter and for me not to have to go through the death of a daughter. I just went to court with a lady whose daughter was also a gang member who was killed in 2009, and they finally got the guy, and they found him guilty on all charges. So that's kind of like a crusade for her that at least has an end to trying to find her daughter's murderer. So, and she was killed by a rival gang member, and she was in a gang as well, and she was 16.
Oh my goodness! So how can someone see the film, though? Where do you show the film?
Well, so far what we've been really successful in doing is a lot of colleges and nonprofit organizations have requested a screening of the film. We just left San Diego yesterday. It was at University of San Diego. It was also at Mesa College, San Diego State University. It's been at FAMU. Georgetown University, LA City College, Santa Monica College. It's been around.
So colleges, nonprofits.
And also juvenile halls have, we've taken it to some juvenile camps, also probation departments. So that may be the life of a God may not want it to be on Showtime. Maybe he wants it to be in real time with the people.
And then you also are there in person, so you can take questions. And,
Yeah, so me and sometimes my daughter is able to come. She's got a job right now, so she's being responsible.
Hallelujah to that.
Yeah, she's just got her own little apartment, and so she's climbing the road to success.
Okay. Okay. Well, that must take a lot off of your mind.
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm still the mama, though, and so I still want to kind of like make sure she fills out her paperwork and she does this, and she tells me, Mom, I got this, you know, so I got to step back a little bit and let her take control.
So what does she have an interest in?
She's a really good writer, but she really hasn't, I think, found really what she wants to do yet. I don't think she's really come into what she wants to do other than help change and shape the lives of girls. She does want to do that.
Oh, she does want to do that.
She loves that, yeah. So
what about school? What about her going back to school?
She wants to go back to school when she'll stay in school. She's enrolled in school several times over the past 3 or 4 years, taking a class here, and she said it just to get the financial aid, and then she drops out. But she said this time when she wants to maybe start in September and she wants to go full time and she wants to go for school this time. So she hasn't really decided yet. It looked like this generation of youth really doesn't come real quick in what they eventually want to do. So she's still deciding.
So tell me a little bit about your photography now. How do people find, well, obviously people know you at this point, but when you first started, how were you, did you have a manager, an agent? How did you get your first gigs?
Putting my ear to the ground. And one of the things that I did was I went to the Los Angeles Sentinel and I took an internship for $50 a month, and I became an intern there. And fortunately and unfortunately, the photographer that brought me in was named Fareed. He died of a liver problem. He got bit by a mosquito and got encephalitis, and it just went crazy. And then they ended up hiring me as a staff photographer for Sentinel magazine. I mean Sentinel newspaper, so Los Angeles Sentinel.
So you worked for the local, and then you got to work for Ebony and
Johnson Publishing, and then I ran into people like Malcolm Ali and Bill Jones and Ian Fox.
So that's like the L.A. crew of photographers.
Crew, right.
And whenever you go to any
love-hate relationship,
you see all of you all there, the whole crew. And well, it has been really great having you on the show, Valerie.
Thank
you. And thank you for sharing your Mother's Day story and your love of saving your daughter from the gang life. The name of your film is
Gang Girl, A Mother's Journey to Save Her Daughter.
Okay, you can go on adj.com, adjshow.com, and you can find out about how to get in touch with Valerie if you want to get her film. And stay tuned, because guess what? Kym Whitley is in the house. We'll see you in just a minute. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Angela D. Joseph Show. I'm Angela D. Joseph, and our next guest, you have seen her at every comedy club in the country, on television shows such as The Parkers, and most recently Animal Practice, and now the star of her own reality show on the Oprah Winfrey Network, Kym Whitley.
Hi,
Kym.
How are you?
Hey. So, girl, you got a reality show on Oprah's network.
Yes, praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. So you just go, you're the hardest working woman in show business. You just go from job to job. You were crying one minute about I lost, and then next thing you got it. How did you get a reality show? Well, let's start with, first of all, how did you end up with a baby?
Wow, that's a whole lot of questions. I'm like, let's see, where do I start there? Let's see, how
did you end up with a baby?
How did I end up with a baby? Well, things happen. I would love to say, I went to the club and it just happened, girl. But how God will have it is, I was mentoring someone, and they had a baby and left my name at the hospital as the guardian. I thought it was one of my girlfriends playing a joke. When the phone rang and they called, and the hospital was like, we have your baby. You can pick him up. I was like, ha, ha, ha. And I was like, yeah, the fries come with that baby. you know, and I was like, oh, I know I'm being punked, you know, and all that. But the lady was not laughing on the other end. She was like, you got an hour and a half, an hour to make a decision. I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
I didn't even know they did it like that. They just call you up and just said, hey, we got a baby with your name on it.
The baby was being discharged, and they needed to know what to do.
Really?
Yeah.
So they just rang your doorbell?
That was it. Rang an hour and a half later. They came, rang my doorbell, and they had a piece of paper with instructions. I'm telling you, it said feed the baby every 2 hours and here's some diapers. Good luck. I was like, what? Does this happen to people? Just drop off human beings to your house? How does this work? God has a sense of humor, honey.
I see. Well, now I saw your show, and there's a whole lot of people coming in and out of your show. Now, do people really just drop in? Everybody got a key to your house?
Okay, this is embarrassing. Yes.
Okay.
It is, you know. I was like, is it me? People are like, your door's always open, you know, because I live in a great neighborhood, but I have a lot of friends, and they're a little disrespectful. They do just walk in the house. I'm going to stop that. The next episode, something's got to change.
Okay, so now you dropped off this baby, and you had a little bit of instructions. Now, how did you take right away to motherhood, or was it difficult for you to adjust to that?
Well, my parents luckily were there, so they took on to parenting and eased me into it. My mom, God bless her, she said, this is how you change a diaper, this is how you sing a song. Then my daddy, he was in charge of burping. He always walked around. My mama did the feeding and the changing. He did the burping. And they just walked me through it for the 2 months that they were there.
So now, how has your life changed having a baby? Because you were at the Comedy Union last week.
That's right. Every Tuesday night, me and Kym go at the Comedy Union. Make sure y'all come check us out.
Yeah. So
yes, I still do stand-up comedy. I still, I'm looking for a man. That is the thread through my life.
Okay, now wait. Now I saw the episode where you going on a date. Okay, so now, has this affected your love life having a baby?
Do you have children?
No.
Okay, let me explain something. You know people that got
Explain it to me.
Yes, it affects your love life. It's like you got a window of opportunity. First of all, you had a baby. You're too tired to date. That's the first thing.
Okay.
You're too tired to date, so you can't get that in between the certain ages because you're exhausted. Then they start talking and having a memory. You can't really, after 3, you can't bring a whole bunch of people around, or after 2, because now they got a memory, and they be like, Mama, you was out there a little bit.
Who was that?
Right, and then they talk too much. So this hard. Either you're too tired, or then they're going to run their mouth. Like, hi, Mr. Johnson, you know Mr. Brown was here last night. So kids, you can't trust them.
Now, okay, now the gentleman who's is playing the role of the father. Okay, now you all used to date.
I don't know how that got out. Not really.
Oh, well, he seems kind of territorial.
He is very territorial, Mr. Rodney Van Johnson.
Yeah.
We've been friends for years.
I think he's cute. But anyway,
a lot of people think he's cute.
Huh?
But I don't know.
You don't think he's cute?
Honey, after about year 17, cute goes away, honey. When you know people, you be like, I don't see what y'all see. He's cute. He's great. But we were friends at the beginning. We went out on one date.
Okay, I knew there was dating there.
There was a one date. He said something crazy to me then, and I was like, oh, no. And we've been friends. I ain't been able to get rid of him. That's the truth.
But you were mad at him. The show where
I'm still mad at him.
Well, actually, I think every show you're mad at him. But the show where you went to the barbershop. Now, honestly, usually when you have a boy child, the man does take him to the first haircut. But you were like insisting. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You're right. Okay, I'm a little controlling.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to take my baby to the first haircut because I wanted to make sure they didn't cut his mohawk. Now, if he's just going to get a haircut and it's his first haircut, you're right. Let the man take it. But it was a style. And I was like, I don't trust him. I don't trust him to keep that little mohawk. And what happened? They cut the mohawk. I mean, it was unbelievable. You're making me shake reliving
you
that.
You were devastated over that little mohawk.
That little mohawk. Yeah, that threw me for a loop.
You discovered that Joshua had food allergies. Tell me about how did you first find out that he had food allergies?
Well, I want to make sure everyone knows. Please watch Raising Whitley so you can see the craziness of the daddy and what happens next on that.
It's fun show.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. On Saturday nights at 10 o'clock. And every Saturday. No. what has happened is, especially when you adopt a child, you don't know the medical history.
Okay.
But Joshua was spitting up eggs and breaking out and all this stuff, so I got him tested, and the little blood test, and he was kind of young. He was only a year, and I was like, oh, they're going to prick him. But, it pretty much saved his life. I found out that he's allergic to peanuts and milk, eggs.
But how did you find out?
I did an allergy test.
An allergy
took
test.
a blood test because he was spitting up.
Oh, okay.
And he was coughing all the time. I was like, something.
So how do you get an allergy? You have to go to the doctor.
You go to the doctor.
And then they take a little blood sample and then
take a little, and they're actually the guidelines for allergy and allergy testing. They've moved up to even younger now.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I was afraid, but I'm glad because I found out that things, especially peanuts, that can kill a child. Found out I had never given him peanut butter because I was just worried. I was like, you shouldn't give a child peanut butter. What if he's allergic? You just don't know. And they say you don't give an infant honey. It's the same thing. Okay. I haven't you can't give them honey till after when they're 1 year old. So once I found out about these allergies, I was like, how do I protect my child? And I came up with, and the daddy that you love, Rodney Van Johnson, we came up with a T-shirt line that says "Don't feed."
Okay, let's get the T-shirt.
T-shirt.
I love this. So and then see now she's an entrepreneur, a designer, adding all the dashes. And are you West Indian? Because I'm West Indian. So.
Hilarious. I like to be West Indian sometime, child.
So look at don't feed me, and so
I gotta put the little tag in for you. Okay. And what you do is you put the child. You say "Don't feed," then you put the child's name on that line. Then you check off what they're allergic to, and if there's anything you need to add, you add that. And this is, people are like, oh, it's going to be bullying. This is for children that cannot talk. They cannot express. They go to parties or people babysit them. I had a nanny come, and like here, we also came up with, this is for the refrigerator. Same thing. Put it on the refrigerator, and they can mark this off. And this is the bag that goes to nursery school with them. You put the EpiPen in there, and you put the Benadryl in there. And then you have, so I made this first. Actually, me and Rodney, we made this first.
Okay.
This was the bag that he went to school with every day. Because we're like, we don't have time for the teacher to run and look up what he's allergic to. It's right here, Benadryl and EpiPen, get ready.
Well, this is what mothers have probably excited that you came up with this, because this is a problem.
It is a problem, and it's a serious problem. I have had letters from mothers that said, my child is going to school. They fed him certain things. Autistic children and mothers have told me, oh, my God, this is going to save my child's life because they can't express. So I've had to even get bigger teachers, not just for the little kids, but for other children. And I am just so excited that it's saving my child's life and that it will save other children in the world.
Well, thank you for doing it. This is a brilliant. So this is going to put your child through college.
I hope that it does and saves lives. And you can get them at don'tfeedme.org.
Also, we have information on the 80J Show website, too. We have a link over there, so you could also find, we can find out how to get the Don't Feed Me
And
T-shirt.
It's in Spanish.
Girl,
honey,
she's not leaving anybody.
Habla español.
Not leaving anybody out. But before you go, I have to get just a little bit nosy, because you putting your life on TV. So now, when you went out with the white guy, and you
I said I love my brothers, but I'm gonna try the others.
Okay, but now, honestly, now he was fine. Did you all really just find him in the market?
It was a docu-series.
This
is what's so sad. It's only 30 minutes long, the show.
Okay.
There were like 5 white guys I found. That's what I was upset about. They cut them out because they said it was so much in the show.
I see.
Yeah.
But they just kept the fine white guy. Okay. And so how did that go?
I'm sorry. I gotta hand this to someone. I'm sorry. My daddy's calling because he's obviously can't turn the link on.
Oh.
Can you talk to my daddy and tell him how to get the link on his computer?
The good thing is that it's also available on demand too.
So it's on demand.
It's on demand. So I'm just saying, if somebody happens to want somebody to watch this,
they can watch it later. Oh, you're fancy.
We very fancy.
I like your producer. He look like a pimp/gangster. He look at everybody. I get this to get 5, 4, 3, 2, action. You're both. I know, sir, and he light skinned.
Yeah, from Philly. And
from Philly.
And it's available on all the cell phone platforms. It's on it's on Ustream. And after this is over, you can go to YouTube and right tonight on YouTube. It'll be on YouTube, on Ustream, and theangelajosephshow.com. We're on Twitter.
Well, hold on. Fix my hair then. I didn't know y'all was. Oh, that large.
Wait. Wait.
I need my phone number underneath my face.
Okay.
Single. Call me if you got a job and teeth. The teeth were important. Sorry.
And many wigs do you have? How many wigs do you have?
Wigs? This is my hair. What are you talking about? Tracy! Oh, my God.
Girl, you walk by a table.
Okay, all right, yes.
You know.
Okay, I have wigs.
Okay.
I love them.
Okay. You know.
Well, some people do crack. I do wigs. I do hair. Okay, sorry, not that. Some people do wine. I do wigs. I know my father's like, really, Kym? You said crack? It happens. Look how you going to sit there and judge me.
I am not.
I also love the Lord.
Okay.
It's a lot.
All right. Okay. All right. And you also like to hoard a little bit.
You have been watching the show a little. I think I'm going
because I want him to come to my house. Because I'm like he's straightened up all that. I'm like, can he come over my house?
Yeah, he's pretty fast.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah, he's pretty fast. He's been doing it for a while. Harold Bell, I see you. He's pretty good. Yeah, and actually we've been together for years. Mm-hmm. But you know what I realized? Look, I act like can't nobody hear me.
What?
He's a stuffer though. Just the other day, no, really. We were just talking about this. So he cleaned up that area, right?
Uh-huh.
Where'd he put it? Did he have a yard sale? Did he get rid of it?
Yeah.
No. We went in the back storage here and put it all in the back storage. Now I can't get the stuff in there. So he's a stuffer.
Oh, okay. So it looks good on the front.
Yes.
Right. So you had your friend, the comedian Carolyn, came to visit you.
Yes.
That was wonderful. That was fun.
Yes.
And stay with you. So you have white friends and white guys to go out with. So you just diverse.
And you know what? I love people. And, really, I never, I look at their color because I just think it's funny just to make a comparison to us. But I have lots of friends of different nationalities. Because one thing I have learned in this world is, especially after the riots, honey, we can all learn something from each other, and I think that's where we all have issues because of one nationality. We don't know. So there's a fear. So I just like to talk to everybody so there will be no fear. Because I don't really know what I am. I'm black, Asian, Indian. All black people want to be Indian, yes.
Oh, yeah. All of us got a little Indian in us.
Yes, because we've bought their hair. That's pretty much what we've done.
Well, that would be true. So what are the things that you are looking to do with your career? I mean, I know you've done movies and TVs and stand-up, but is there an area? I mean, do you sing? I mean, what else?
What I don't do is dance. I was on Katie Kirk the other day, and when I take Katie Kirk, put me to shame. So I realized that Dancing with the Stars won't be calling me. I have a deep voice, and people think that I can sing.
Okay.
No. I'm an artist. A lot of people don't know that. That's the first interview I've actually said that on. This is fantastic.
So that's an exclusive here on the Angela Joseph Show. We're learning something new about Kym today.
That's right. If people don't know, I went to Fisk University, and my degree is in art.
Oh, okay.
I painted my way, and I come from a family of architects, and I think that's why I got my hustle, my grind from. People say, how do you do all this, and why are you always? Because I came from a hustler. My daddy was an architect, a black architect back in the day.
Really?
One of the first black architectural firms, and when I tell you, we did well. We did well. Thank you very much. Lived in Sudan, Khartoum. My father was building schools there. Moved over to Europe. Ended up in Cleveland, Ohio. Built a lot of Cleveland. So what I learned was how to hustle. He didn't have anybody give him a job. After one building was built, my father had to find the next job. So I watched that growing up. So I just keep on hustling. All of that right there. Watch Raising Whitley Saturdays. See my hustle.
Okay, but your parents, but they encouraged you to come to be in what you wanted to do, to be an actress, and that's unusual. A lot of middle class families don't want their kids to go into show business, so.
And that's where they make the mistake. What parents should do is allow a child to find what they want on their own. And that's when a child is going to blossom. If you have a family that says to you, which my family said to me, go ahead, be an actress. If you fail, you can always come back home.
Okay.
So what I had was the support to go do it. Okay, you want to know the truth, what they did? You're getting another exclusive. I'm going to just tell you.
Oh, man, see?
Okay, this is what happened. See,
Do tell.
All right, I'm going to tell it. And my daddy said he knows he did it. So he and his little architecture firm, a big architecture firm, and he got my brothers there. He got the secretary, and he got his twin brother, and they all in there in the conference room, and I saw them. Okay. And they're like, yeah, Kym going to L.A. And they placed $1 bet each.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they did. And their little secretary. Oh yeah, they placed the dollar. They said she'll be back.
Oh.
She'll be back, and they placed that.
And you
dollar.
heard it.
What? I saw they I see it through the glass. They laughing. But see, that's great because that fueled me to say, I got to prove to them.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to be an architect. I wasn't good in math. I didn't want the building to go down. I was
Okay.
like, this is what I wanted to do. And it was great because my mom was like, you know what, baby? Go ahead on out there. We're going to send your car and go on and try your best. You can always come back to this office and work. You can always come home. So
That's
was
a beautiful.
the thing.
That's a beautiful thing.
It is.
To have
So
that.
to have that. And if parents did that instead of forcing their children to be something, they would blossom.
But when did you find out that you were funny? Were you one of those people that were funny in school? Because I mean, being an actress and being a comedian is different. So how did you find out that you had that knack for comedy?
If you talk to my family, once again, my brothers are funnier than me. They are the funny ones. I became funny, I think, when I got out here. Like in school, I was afraid to like joan on people, but I started off with Shelly Garrett's Beauty Shop. When I first got here, I landed that job, and I remember one of the actresses, Kimberly Brooks, was my roommate. She came to me, she was like, "You're mean." I was like, "Huh?" She was like, "You make a joke out of everyone on stage." And I didn't know, so I was joning on people. I was cracking on people and didn't even realize it. She said, but I was doing it in mean spirit and hurting people's feelings. So that's how I learned how to readjust. And I turned the joke on me. So I think that's how I was learning. And I would say it was probably Shelly Garrett's Beauty Shop when I really started to hone my craft.
So you went on the Chitlin circuit and did all the little.
What? Shelly Garrett was the first. I mean, we made $33 million in New York alone.
Woo.
Yeah, that was the first one. You talk about these plays.
That was before Tyler Perry.
Oh, absolutely. Tyler Perry
Yeah.
used to come to the plays.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
Tyler used to come there, and it was the first, to see a Chitlin Circuit play, make that kind of money, and to do that, we all were like, this is great. He employed all these people. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. So then after that, that's what he opened the door. Shelly Garrett opened the door. And then the David Talberts and the Tyler Perry. And Tyler Perry took it on to a whole nother level, of course.
Now, do you have any dream projects that you would love to do, or anybody you want to work with?
Who would I want to work with? Oh, there's a lot of people. But there's some great actors out there. Yes, of course you. I'm afraid of you, though, sir. I want you to know that. I'm afraid you might choke me. But there's so many great people, but the funny people, of course, Jamie Foxx, I know him and love him. I'd love to do a project with Monique, who I think is a great actress, who's also a singer. Jill Scott, another fantastic person. But I would love to play a civil rights leader, a civil rights person, something that is, I love Black history. I love all history, but I really love Black history. And I was a big fan of Octavia Butler.
Yes,
her
science
book.
fiction.
Yes, she has that one book, and she goes back
When
into
she goes
slavery.
back in time and her hand gets
Yes,
left in
and
the
I was
wall.
like, I really want to be something that goes back, something that I want to relive history and put the hair and the costume on.
So would you consider doing a play, a historical play?
I would do a historical
Okay,
play.
I got a play for you. It's called The Chest, and it's about somebody discovering all their female ancestors.
Well, fantastic. Now, you're going to have to put the lines on the floor and in some books.
Oh.
Because memorizing a play. I went to Joe Turner's Come and Gone last night over to Mark Taper. Oh, with Keith David and
yeah.
my other boy. Let me tell you something.
Serious acting.
I looked at that. I was like, I'm really not acting. I'm really not. Felicia Rashad, she directed. Let me tell you something. She would have fired me, okay? Honey, I looked at those. I said, they are incredible. I'm going to stick to stand-up. Incredible.
No, but you know what's interesting though? A lot of comedians are good at dramatic parts. I mean, you look at Tom Hanks, and you look at people who have made this transition, and I mean Eddie Murphy. A lot of people are go from comedy to being able to be. So hey.
Oh, I've done it now. I've done some drama. Let me tell you something. It's exhausting. That's the difference.
Why?
Comedy, I come off a movie or and I'm light. You come off a drama, you're heavy.
Oh, you carry it with you?
You just, to get to the place, to bring, especially when you're a person that's way up here. I did a show called Standoff. That was on Fox. And I was the negotiator for the hostages. Let me tell you something. No one even knew I was a stand-up, except for people that really knew my career. When I left the set, I was like, come to my show, come to Comedy Union, blah, blah, blah. They were like, you a comic? Because I didn't crack one joke. First of all, my lines were thick. I had to cry a bunch of things, so I came in every day deep and heavy, and I had to stay heavy, because if I let myself get light, it takes you so much to get down. I remember the executive producer, he said, "What are you listening to before every scene?" I had in my music, and I had to get ready. And it was crazy. I was listening to country music.
Okay. Oh, that was putting you in the mood?
Yeah, it was weird. I was listening to country music. He looked at me like this. Okay, the black girl listens to country music.
Okay.
But it was a deep song. I Believe. By Brooks Dunn's and that group. But it was that song was heavy. It was talking about the Bible, and it was deep, and I just got into it, and then I cried. Just talking about I'm tired.
Wow. Now, how did you start making the reality show? I mean, did you just have somebody come over your house with a camera and you start filming, or did you get the deal first? How did that work?
Well, I actually had done reality reel before about my life with Ruby Red Productions, who had done all the comic views and stuff, and then Joshua came along, and people were like, "Oh God, Kym Whitley got a kid. This is hysterical." I was like, "Why is everybody saying that? Why is it so unbelievable?" So we actually went over and pitched to Pilgrim Films. They do Sweetie Pies and Choppers and all these shows, and they were like, "Hey, this is great," and they came and shot a reel. A sizzle reel. Actually, we went down to the Black firefighters ball, and they helped us. We did the party, and I brought the baby. When I tell you, everybody talked about me like a dog. Baby was 6 months old. So I was in the party like, get it.
I saw you.
Yeah, right. I did. And everybody was like, why does Kym Whitley? Oh, she's so ghetto. Y'all don't see the cameras, but that was in order because that's what it was. My mom and daddy took me to parties. Sometimes as a stand-up, you got to take your kid. So we shot that, and then we took it around to different networks. And the best fit, of course, was OWN, because they inspire and enlighten people. And that's what my story is to do, is to inspire. It's not just to be funny. It's to help people. So that's how we landed that.
And people are loving that show. Raising Whitley.
They are
loving that show.
Raising Whitley on OWN, 10 o'clock on Saturdays. And there are some, reruns. We need the support. We want that thing, because it is really about helping people build their village. Back in the day, aunties and grandmas and all the people raised us. Now it's a little different, So if you're a single mom out there, or a single dad, or even if you're a two-parent home, to get your village, people don't ask godparents anymore. They don't ask people to help. It's all in name. It's not real. No, I'm serious. So what I did was build my village, made them all sign a contract that you would be in this child's life for the rest of his life.
Really?
Yeah, not why he's cute. No want to be with the baby while he's cute. But when he gets 7, 8, 10, 13, and their mouth starts running, everybody like, I got something to do. Right. No, you come on back over here. Remember that contract you signed? Yeah, so that's the thing. And what people don't realize is a lot of people, especially women and men that don't have children, it is an honor when someone comes to you and say, "Can you help me raise this child?" What it has done to my village and people in my life, they said it has inspired them to be bigger and better adults.
That's good. So I'm fascinated by the dynamic that goes on between the males on the show.
Yeah.
And the show when I guess one of them brought your son a doll. Yeah. So
that's my Hollywood husband. Wendell brought him a doll because Wendell is, felt that he can have a doll and he can have sparkly things. And of course, there's Rodney, who is the very heterosexual male. What is that word that we like to use? Macho man and manly. Yeah. And Wendell's in touch with all his sides. And I wasn't mad at the doll. Rodney was upset with the doll, and think about old school. He's more of that old school, like you don't bring boys dolls. I didn't want to say, then what's a G.I. Joe? I didn't want to say nothing, but that's a doll.
Okay.
But you're right. But what I would like to do is what I think parents should do, expose your children. You don't expose them to bad things, but exposure. So they can make their own decisions. If a little boy picks up a truck and he plays with the truck and he loves the truck, fine. But if he picks up a doll, you don't slap the doll out the boy's hand. Now he's like, oh, that's bad. He is going to be afraid to be in front of you and show you what he likes. Mm-hmm. So let him. If he likes a doll, he likes a doll. One day he might put that doll down. I don't say go buy him dresses and all this, but be in touch with your child, watch your child to see what makes them happy, because whatever is passionate to that child, he is going to, of course, blossom. And do you want to put your child in a cage that he feels afraid for the rest of his life, that he's fearful, that he can't express in front of his mom and dad, the people that are closest to him, or just his mom or just his dad? No, let the boy play with a doll.
Well,
okay, I know the black people like, Lord Jesus. Because there's people, this world is changing. The little boy is going to make a decision. People think that, oh, if a mother raises her son, now I got to say this, I'm probably going to get some flack, but if you have a female raising a boy, and the boy turns out macho and this and that, but if you have a female who raised a boy and the boy turns out gay, they're like, oh, he didn't have enough, male role models. But you got two kids raised by women. One turned out gay, one turned out heterosexual. But they both had the same upbringing.
Right.
It really, is that what we're saying? No, we're not saying because he's around women, that's what does it. No. You're either born that way or you're not. Some people make choices of it, but I don't believe that is a...
But what's good is that you do have a balance, because you have the straight man, straight man, and then you have somebody that you said is a little different. So he is getting at least a balance. And then you have your female friends too. So tell me, how is the difference between the way your female friends are with Joshua and your male friends are with Joshua?
The female, spoiled. Love him, spoil him to death. Won't change a diaper, though. The women will not change a diaper. They talk all that talk. They ain't change a diaper. The men will change a diaper. The men will jump in there. Both types of men take care of him. The women, they're okay. They're okay. But, you got to remember that there's a television show Village, and then there's an even bigger village.
Okay.
So I have people that were like, I don't want to be on TV, that even are even just wonderful. So he has a large village. And the thing is, I have a Latino girl, and they have a Jewish girl that are in my village. So one thing is I exposed him to, as I was exposed to as a child, as all the cultures, all the things of life that, so he will know all people.
Well,
I know I'm going to get some tweets. This crazy girl right here, Lord Jesus.
That is
it's
wonderful.
A fire.
So tell us, you're at the Comedy Union.
I am at the Comedy Union with Kym Coles.
Kym Coles, the two Kyms.
The two Kyms.
And that's Tuesday nights?
At 8:30, ladies' night. Of course, we love the men there. But we have a good time. Day Lamar, she comes around and helps us out. But we have fun every Tuesday night.
And what about going on the road? Because this show is going out globally, so there's people in other cities right now going, well, what about us?
We will come to you soon and very soon. We are going to see the Lord. Okay, that's a song. Sorry. Me and Kym Coles, we're trying to get on the road. We want to take this out. I know I have a show in Cleveland coming up soon. I have a show in Nashville, and I have a show in Chicago. So, hopefully we're going out, all the Delta Sigma Thetas. I'll see y'all, of course, in D.C. This summer. But that, and to follow me on Twitter at Kym, Kym, Whitley. I was trying to read your notes. And I have Black Dynamite coming back, the cartoon. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I always forget,
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying.
And, I always forget about Nick Moms, too. I have a Nick Moms. I have a web series on Nick Moms that people can go to nickmoms.com. It's called Kymplicated. Yeah, it's a little crazy. So just been having a lot of fun.
Well, Kym, we have had a lot of fun having you here on the Angela Joseph Show today. We are so happy to have you here. We're excited about your new reality show on OWN on the Oprah's network, and very much want to congratulate you on the Don't Feed Me t-shirt. Brilliant idea.
Thank you.
Helping mothers, children with allergies. All your information is on our website. It links right over to your page. So people can go to theajshow.com and you can find Kym's site where you have you and your son, and they can order your shirts.
Absolutely.
And we want to support you in any way that we can here at our show.
Well, God bless you so much.
Thank you very much for everything, making us laugh, and for what you're doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So this has been a great show. We have had a good time. We've had Kym Whitley here. And coming up next, I'm going to do a tribute to my mom. This is the Mother's Day show, Angela DeJoseph. And Oh, they're giving me the signal that we're going. So we stayed and had
Happy
more
Mother's
and
Day.
had more. Happy Mother's Day. It's been the Mother's Day show. I will see you next Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 o'clock New York time. Thank you so much for joining us on the Angela Joseph Show. Catch us on Twitter. It's at ADJ Show, and Facebook, theangelajoseph.com, and go to our website. Thank you. See you next week.